Welcome back to FTLF Podcast. I'm your host, Mbuso. Today we're live after the Arsenal versus Chelsea game, which ended 3-1, with Arsenal being the victors, of course. Speaking of, we have one of the representatives of Arsenal for our podcast, of course, Mr. Samuel. Uh, First of all, we saw how this game was a stalemate until random goals started being made through set pieces and fantastic, wonderful goals that we actually did not anticipate. So, do you have any immediate thoughts after this game right now?
I mean, it's a results business at the end of the day. 3-1 against Chelsea at home on Boxing Day. Like, fam, like, I couldn't ask for any better Christmas gift. But at the same time, we didn't particularly play the way we should be if we are to compete. Still sloppy in transition. But in the final third, we took all our chances. Players were up for it today. Nobody was sloppy, you know. So I'd say we were definitely more focused than Chelsea, though, because Chelsea were just nothing was working out for them. But for us, things were clicking. I won't say it was a beautiful performance, but I mean it was decent enough, and we deserved the win. So,
Speaking of performances, who do you think had the most impactful performance from Arsenal?
Saka, fam, Saka and Tierney, those two, because Tierney showed like the way he was, constantly whipping balls in, constantly, being a threat. Saka as well, his close control in tight spaces, his quality, like those two really had a very good game. Martinelli, Shaka, Lacazette were also very good. So, they played good supporting roles, but for me, Saka and Tierney were definitely the two best players.
So the biggest talking point coming out of this game wasn't Chelsea's shambolic performance, but where it started to fall down really for Chelsea. That penalty. Do you think that was a penalty or not?
Yeah, it was definitely a penalty. It was a penalty, and knowing Jorginho's track record with penalties, I genuinely thought it was 3-2. But Leno doesn't save penalties, so I was surprised. Like this game was just caught me off guard. But man, I'm happy with the result at the end of the day, man. I'm happy.
So VAR has been a point of contention for many games. So how do you think it performed tonight?
Now, VAR did well today. I mean, for us, our penalty was supposed to be a penalty. Yes, it was harsh though. I'll give you that. It was harsh, but it was the right decision. Also was theirs, So I think VAR did a decent job today. No major referee flaws, so it was decent.
So what do you think Arsenal have to do in the next game to push themselves closer to the top 10?
Now that we've just beaten one of our biggest rivals the way we did, there's no reason why we shouldn't play Brighton with 100% intensity. I'd like to see us play more attacking, preferably a 4-3-3. Someone like Smith Rowe, Martinelli, the youngsters should be starting this game as well because they were the ones that made the difference today. And honestly, I mean, we just have to kick on. We can't afford to be sloppy. From minute 1 to minute 90 against Brighton, we have to be on top of them. Nothing other than 3 points.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for the interview, Samuel. We'll now move on to the second part of our interview with Toby representing Chelsea. Thank you very much. Welcome back to the second part of our FTLF interview. Post game, of course, Arsenal versus Chelsea. 3-1 was the result, with Arsenal coming out on top. Right now, I have a Chelsea representative, Toby, to talk about what happened during this game. Of course, the biggest takeaway was a shambolic performance from both teams, really. But with Arsenal making use of their set pieces, what do you think was the biggest fault of Chelsea in this game? Out of everything, out of the defense, out of the attack, who do you think is the most at fault?
Where do you want me to start, dude? I don't know what to say. I There's nothing for me to say because there's so many areas in our play that have just bottled it. We didn't. I've never seen such most let down performance like this season. These guys are fucking 15th. They are 15 on the table. We needed this win to compete. Fair play to them. Arteta's held his job for now. They've got a home win, finally, out of like what, 6, 7? How many games now? 6 games or something. 4 games, Buso. Past 4 games, we only managed to get 3 losses in the league. Is this the attitude that players of my team show, calling us Chelsea Football Club a top 6 side, playing like this, embarrassing ourselves? Bro, we're in a worse situation than last season around this time. This is the time when we beat Tottenham and Arsenal at the same month. I remember 21st when we played Tottenham, we beat them 2-0. 2-1, we went to the Emirates again. We beat them. And now look at us. Spending all that money, people calling us title contenders. We're still in it. I don't care. But we cannot be losing like this, fam. There was no fight. If there was a fight, if they were fighting too, let me be honest, they didn't play their best game. They didn't. So it clearly shows that we are fucking shit when it comes to situations like this. The reason why I say that is because we cannot keep a consistent mentality. Our players is what I mean. They let down the fans. They've let down the club. They've let down the manager.
Speaking of the manager, we're gonna go and ask you as a fan, put yourself in the shoes of Lampard. We have the best interests of Chelsea in mind. How do you step forward? How do you put tactics on paper and onto the pitch in the upcoming games to gain some more points and move up in the league and compete with the likes of Liverpool?
First of all, he needs to get tactics right. And by that, I mean getting starting lineups right. Getting in people that need to play when we're in a situation where we're losing. You're playing in Kai Havertz is not even in form. He didn't do shit. Olivier Giroud, their own boy, knows he can score goals. Why didn't he start? Time he scored a goal against Arsenal, he scored the last game against West Ham. 2 goals against West Ham doesn't mean he can keep the consistency. He's still young, he's still developing. And then you manage to start Abraham and you bring in Kai Havertz. You're an embarrassment, man. I love Frank Lampard, he's a good manager, but he cannot be doing this. If he keeps doing this again and again, we're not going nowhere. We're going nowhere. We look like the relegation side today, Buso. We look like the relegated side, not them. We. They look like they were fighting for top 4, not us. We were down, demolished. It's like we went to flip and walk to Uganda and came back to London. That's how they looked. They looked dreadful, dead, no chances created. How do you expect me to be happy about this? Obviously, his last few performances have been shit. Against West Ham, as an example, we didn't play well. We still managed to get 3 points because we were lucky. This cannot happen. This cannot be happening. We're already 4 losses in the Premier League. If you get more than this, we cannot compete. The only thing we can battle for is top 4, top 6. That's it. Yes, we're a new team. Yes, we're redeveloping this season. But we cannot be losing and slipping goals like this. These are stupid, careless mistakes we've been doing. And at a side like Chelsea, we need our mentality to focus. Look at our legends. They had the mentality to win. They know what it is to win. That's an example. What do we do today? Fucking shambolic, man. I can't handle this, man. I can't.
So, of course, you're very emotional right now, but let's just round it up right now for the watchers and viewers here. Let's talk about the prospect of Chelsea becoming champions this season. You guys spend the most, of course, by far this season in the transfer market. Do you think those investments are enough to make you guys the winners of the Premier League? Not because based on tonight's performance, but overall so far. How do you think your team will fare over the next term? Because of course December is always the turning points in the Premier League. What do you think about that?
I just want to add a few things. Being realistic right now, answering to your question, we cannot win the league this season. I think Liverpool are far better side. They can manage to clinch the title again, but we can be close with the talent we've got. Let's be honest. If you look at Chelsea's all-round team and depth, and including the talent we've got in skill, Timo Werner, if he was in form, he'd be doing wonders. Kai Havertz, if he gels in, we'd be doing wonders. So in talent-wise, we're a very good team who can compete for the title. But we're nowhere near that. We're nowhere near anywhere where we want to win. We look dreadful. We're not fighting enough. So if you ask me, it's too early for me to ask me because I cannot judge my team. I'm just down from this game, Buso. These past few games have been sloppy. I understand fatigue. Games are coming in fast. But we have Aston Villa next and day after tomorrow. The lads have got 1 day of training. 1 day. I don't know what I expect from that game. I don't know. But looking forward towards the higher future and where we're organizing, where we want to go. Lampard says it's a work in progress, but don't leak stupid goals like that. If Arsenal fought, if they wanted to really win, then okay, I take that. Yes, they fought. They were better. They were better side than us. But if we went 4 hours without playing, 4 hours of playing football, Buso, we wouldn't have scored 1 goal. We wouldn't have.
All right, just rounding it up. Any more takeaways? Any more thoughts? Anything you want to tell the fans of FTLF, fans of Chelsea, anything like that? Final words.
Don't fucking get carried away. Just don't. Doesn't work for Chelsea FC. Because what I saw today was absolute embarrassment. Embarrassed me, the club, the owner, everybody. Because if by any chance any of our players get injured, for example, the likes of Pulisic, who's had a great game, I cannot rely on Werner. I cannot rely on Tammy Abraham. Doesn't shine the occasion. We're nowhere near good enough today. We're nowhere near good enough to compete for a title at this point. I don't know what to say. I'm lost for words, but fuck it, man. Just cut this thing. That's it. That's all I got to say. That's all. I have nothing else to say, Buso.
Thank you very much for watching. It's been FTLF post game interview. Of course, a very interesting game, but we want to say thank you very much for watching. It's been FTLF, and remember, we're doing this for the love of football. Cheers.